Beautiful ones, this week the skies don't decide for you. You decide how to meet them. On September 18th, Mercury triggers a rare Grand Air Trine. Truth strikes with lightning, but illusion tries to creep in. On September 19th, Venus enters Virgo with the moon, and love demands to be practical, embodied, and undeniable. And hear me well when I say this. Every choice you make here becomes the seed that the solar eclipse on September 21st makes physical, anchoring your timeline into reality. Because remember, life is rearranging itself around you, not the other way around. If you felt pressure building, these 2 days are the crack in the sky where everything spills through. What you choose now isn't small. It's what shapes the reality you'll walk after this eclipse. Welcome, beautiful ones. I'm Cindi, astrologer, mystic, and your guide here on Simply Cindi. And here's the truth. You don't need to know astrology to be here. I walk with you step by step, hand in hand, and translate these energies into what they mean for your life, your relationships, your work, your decisions, and your healing. And unlike most forecasts, this is forecasts that shift timelines. So I don't just interpret the stars. I give you the practical tools. Here we do breath work, journaling prompts, simple rituals or steps to take, whatever your belief system is. We do nervous system resets. And this is all so you don't just react to the skies, you rewrite what happens next. So let's look at when Mercury enters Libra this week. So on September 18th, Mercury steps into Libra right here. That means the planet of communication, thought, and perception shifts into a sign that seeks dialogue, balance, and diplomacy. It's no longer about rushing to a conclusion. It's about weighing perspectives, hearing both sides, and seeking harmony through words. But the sky doesn't stop there. The moment Mercury enters Libra, it forms this Grand Air Trine with Uranus retrograde at 1 degree in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius retrograde. Okay. Air feeds air. Expect revelations, downloads, conversations that feel like lightning bolts of truth. And we already see that happening in the world. Insights can come suddenly, and they can shift your perspective in ways that feel liberating. Yet, there's a catch. Because at the same time, Mercury opposes Saturn over here at 28 degrees and Neptune. They're both retrograde. Okay. Saturn presses for boundaries and accountability. Are your words grounded in reality? Do they hold weight? And Neptune, on the other hand, can blur the edges, seducing us with illusion, projection, or words that sound beautiful but aren't fully true. And this is where the choice lives, my beautiful ones. You may feel the spark of a revelation, but pause before you act. I want you to pause before you act when you feel these revelations. It is so important this week. Write it down. Breathe with it. Let it settle into your body. Because the difference between an illusion and an insight is whether it's anchored in your clarity. Beautiful ones, this is sovereignty in action. You don't have to react to every flash of thought. You choose what becomes your truth. And when you do, your words will not only soothe or persuade, they'll carry the power to reshape the space around you. So the message here is expect sparks of clarity, but know the air is thin between truth and illusion. So what feels like a revelation may need grounding before you act on it. Write it, breathe it, and then share it. Now let's look at when Venus enters Virgo. And I do have a Venus series that I'm doing. If you want to dive deeper into Venus and how to work with Venus, I'll put that right here. Okay, so the very next day on the 19th, the skies shifts again. This time from the mind to the heart. And it's here that love, beauty, and worth get shaken awake. So on September 19th, Venus shifts into Virgo. That means love, beauty, and harmony move into an earth sign that values service, refinement, and devotion through the small things. Here, Venus isn't about grand gestures. It's about the care in details, the love you can touch and trust. And for a few hours, Venus is joining the moon. This amplifies emotional sensitivity. What you feel about love, beauty, and worth become heightened, maybe even raw. You'll feel what's working and what isn't in your closest connections and in how you care for yourself. But there's tension in the air because Venus and the moon, they're going to be squaring Uranus retrograde in Gemini. This is disruption in relationships, creativity, and emotion. These are shocks that break patterns, okay? Expect the unexpected. A conversation that turns suddenly, the truth that surfaces suddenly, a surprise that wakes you up, okay? Yet, there's also a trine. So at the same time that it's squaring Uranus, it is going to be trining Chiron, okay? And that's Chiron at 26 degrees. This is the healing thread. See, I tell you guys, these planets are here to work with you and help you. Okay. So, whatever shocks arise from here, it points towards the deeper wound of self worth and self trust. It's not just disruption for the sake of chaos, it's disruption that reveals what's ready to be healed and reclaimed. And this is where sovereignty enters again. Love in Virgo asks, what's real? What's embodied? What love shows up in action, not just words. You get to choose what patterns continue and what ends. You get to ground love in something practical, something real, something that doesn't ask you to abandon yourself. And so for the 19th, the message here is what you love may surprise you, and who you love may shock you. But the deeper invitation is this: can you allow harmony without abandoning yourself? Venus in Virgo reminds us that love is proven in care, not compromise. And then, beautiful ones, all of this energy gathers at the doorway because just 2 days later, on the 21st, we arrive at the solar eclipse at 29 degrees. Remember, on September 21st, the solar eclipse in Virgo is coming at 29 degrees, right? And remember, we had that uh, new moon at 0 degrees. I have a video on that and where I take you through the 0 degrees. Then we had the lunar eclipse at 15 degrees over here. And now we're finishing the arc of this story at 29 degrees. Okay. This eclipse is not random, it's karmic. The closing of one harvest and the planting of another. It seals what's been building all month and it makes physical the choices you've been leaning into this week. So remember what we've just talked about. Mercury on the 18th is going to bring us revelations. We've got to sit with that and see what choices we're going to make. And then Venus and the moon together are giving us the disruption and healing on the 19th. Okay. Those weren't isolated moments. They were the setup, the crack in the sky that shows you the choice. What choice are you going to make with the clarity that you have, right? To bring into your reality. The eclipse is where that choice right here becomes anchored. This is where timelines shifts to become real for you. And if you haven't already, I created that full Virgo solar eclipse where I guide you through the threshold in depth. I'll link it right here so you can watch it after the forecast and step into the eclipse fully prepared. Okay? So the message here is this eclipse will not decide for you. It will only magnify the seeds you've already planted. So what you claim in clarity and love this week is what the eclipse makes undeniable for you. Now, beautiful ones, you know I don't just interpret the stars. I give you the tools so you can work with them. And here's how to anchor these energies when they arrive. So for September 18th, there's a journal prompt that I can give you. I want you to sit with this, okay? So find a space, make it very clear so that when you have a clear space, you have a clear mind, right? Make it very comfortable where you're at, wherever you decide that's comfort for you and you're clear-headed, okay? I want you to write this down and then sit with this and see what comes up. So the question is, what truth feels electric right now? And how can I ground it before I share it? Okay? And see what comes up for you. Just sit with that. Now, let's do a little bit of breath work to really soak it in. Okay? I want you to inhale as you're sitting in this quiet space, if you want to do that as well. Inhale for 4 counts and then exhale for 6 counts. Okay? Repeat until the mental charge that you have, the emotions that are coming up, repeat that until that softens for you. And remember this, clarity is born when you give your thoughts space to breathe before you give them away. This week's energy is going to be like this because tomorrow I'm going to release a video about Mars. And because Mars is talking to a lot of the planets, he's aspecting, and I really want to talk about that. This is where on Mondays, this is where we deep dive into aspects, and there's a finger of God going on too. So you're going to want to lash out. You're going to want to say, okay, but I want you to empower yourself. You are in control of you, not anybody else. Okay, so I want you to keep repeating this line as Mars and Uranus and the moon and Venus and all of them, they're going to be coming, heightening things, Jupiter, right? So as you get these emotions, as you try to get clarity, you're not going to try, it's going to come. As you get clarity, as you decide what your reality is going to be, I want you to empower yourself and say this. Clarity is born when you give your thoughts space to breathe before you give them away. Okay? All right, for September 19th, as Venus enters Virgo, let's do this daily steps to take or ritual, right? Whatever your belief system is, I want you to choose your space. So your altar, if it's an altar that you have, if it's a desk that makes you feel comfortable and that's where your thoughts and your emotions come up at, if it's the kitchen where you're cooking and that puts you in the zone, okay? And bring order and beauty to it, all right? I want you to bring, wherever that space is, I want you to bring order and beauty, okay? Love lives in the details. This is very Virgo energy, okay? Virgo wants to order and beautify these things, okay? That's how Virgo shows love. And then the affirmation that I want you to say is love lives in the details. I heal when I embody care. I'll say that again. Love lives in the details. I heal when I embody care. Another thing you can do is the tapping practice because we are going to have a lot of anxiety this week, right? We don't want to get back into fight or flight. We have been really relaxing our body and letting energy go through, okay? And it's okay to get into fight or flight when you need to, but for our whole society, we have been in fight or flight for way too long, okay? So as these anxieties come up, as this fear comes up, I want you to, here's a tapping that can help. All right, let's run that energy through your body. Okay, you are in charge, you are empowered. All right, so tap gently on the side of your hand and say, even though I feel tension, I am safe in my body. Okay, I'll say it again. You tap the side of your hand, like you can tap them together, or you can tap one hand and then the other, right? But as you're tapping, I want you to say, even though I feel this tension, I am safe in my body. Then I want you to move to your collarbone and then point and say, this energy does not control me. I choose release. Okay, so move to your collarbone, tap, not hard, and then point and say, this energy does not control me. I choose release. Then I want you to tap gently under your eyes, okay? So first we're at our hands, then we're at our collarbone, then we point, and then we go under the eye and say, I am grounded. I am cared for. I am whole. And I want you to repeat this from your hands to your collarbone to your eyes. I want you to repeat it for 2 to 3 cycles, okay? Until you feel that this anxiety is loosening and softening and like flowing. You'll feel it, okay? And I want you to know every time you release tension, you reclaim the space to love without abandoning yourself. Okay? I want you to really hear this in me. Every time you release tension, you reclaim the space to love without abandoning yourself. So let me give you a reminder. Don't feel this week that you need to do everything at once. Even with these tools that I'm giving you, I want you to pick one tool that calls to you, whether it's the journaling or the breathing or the tidying the space or the round of tapping. Whatever calls to you, you don't have to do every one of them. You can just do one and that's enough. Trust me, it's enough. And let it be enough. Okay? Small steps anchor big shifts. All right, beautiful ones, let me leave you with this. Remember, this isn't just another week in the stars. It's a week where your choices become visible. Mercury in Libra lights up your words and your mind. Venus with the moon in Virgo brings it all back down into your body, your care, and your love. Insights without actions is just weather. But when you breathe it, write it, embody it, that, my beautiful ones, is when timelines shift. So name the truth, choose the ritual, let love live in the details, and remember, the eclipse won't decide for you. It will only amplify the seeds you've planted right now. And before you go, don't miss what's next. Every Sunday, I bring the forecast that shift timelines. So you step into the week already prepared, already empowered. And tomorrow, we're going deeper with that Mars deep dive. How he's squaring off with Pluto and Chiron and Jupiter and Venus in Leo right before Venus enters Virgo. So if you skip that, you'll miss the keys to why this week feels so charged. And if this video resonated, please tap that new feature that YouTube is done. It's called the hype. So hype this video. It's going to tell YouTube, yes, I want more people to see this and I want to see more of this. Okay. This helps more people that need this guidance see it. All right. And I'd love for you to walk with me through each step, beautiful ones, because the sky may set the stage, but you are the one who decides how the story unfolds.